Hello Internet, welcome to TLC Learn. Today we'll be looking at how to create custom shapes, export and import them in Photoshop. We're going to create a square document 8.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and custom shapes are part of the vector tools right there. There are some presets for custom shapes. By the way, before Photoshop 2020, the custom shapes were not like this and the presets were not like this, so there's a way to quickly load it. But right now, let's just use what we have and select that lion looking shape. Let's blow that up right there. Okay, I'm not holding shift, but let's just hold shift right now. So okay, let's give it a feel of that blue. Okay, so there, so maybe that's not illustrative enough. Let's just do another one. Let's use trees. Okay, maybe that one. All right, so again, you just give it a feel. So basically, custom shapes can help you do quick silhouettes of objects, and they can come in handy in working. So right now, let's just define a custom shape. Let's bring in this arrow tool, and the next thing to do is to get your pen tool and just trace it out. Just trace it out that way. By the way, if you add your cap lock on, then any tool in Photoshop is not going to show the icon, so you need to turn off your cap lock before you can get the icon of a particular tool. Alright, then close that part. By the way, we have to be part for this, so we go to edit. We can do that right there. I say define custom shape. Actually, it's define custom shape, or we can right click right there and say define custom shape, which we're gonna do right now, and we can call this one cursor or mouse cursor. I think we just call it cursor arrow. Yeah, there we go. So now let's just remove that image, or basically so backspace to remove that, and let's just test that out. Go to our custom shapes again. Let's close that. Right there, you see that arrow we just created, and you cannot draw that. So you cannot use that. Let's just put a color in there, and we cannot use this custom shape in our Photoshop whenever we like without having to install the image again. This is now part of our Photoshop. Let's bring in another image, something a little more complex. Basically, for us to define custom shapes, we need to have a kind of reference, and that's what we're doing with this. So let's define a custom shape of this Facebook logo now. So again, bring out your pen tool. We're gonna have to trace out every shape here. The first one is that F shape for the Facebook F. So we're gonna use our pen tool to trace that out. Next, we're gonna need to also trace out the circle that borders the F. But right now, let's just focus on the F. So what I do mostly when I work is, as a graphic artist, especially as a beginner, you might not know this yet, but if you're a beginner, then as you work, you're gonna need to use a lot of icons, and sometimes you find yourself bringing in icons as images, or sometimes making them become monochrome and all that. But this is a way you can have a library of all the usual icons you use often, and have them as part of your Photoshop without having to go import them every so often. So I think this is a good this would be a good workflow to adopt. Just define all your icons into custom shapes by following the technique in this tutorial, and and then you can just export that or import it whenever you need it. If the library is too many, if there are too many, then it can slow your Photoshop down, so you may want to keep that out of your Photoshop until you need it. So whenever you need it, you can import it, use it, and when you're done, you can simply go to where it is and just delete it. So that right now we close up that part like that, and then let's just right click. Now the important thing is you must be on your pen tool. You can see right there at my toolbar, I am on my pen tool. We're calling this one Facebook icon, maybe circle, because we could create another one that's a Facebook icon bordered by a square or some sort of rectangle. So again, let's get that real image out of the way. We're gonna bring in another image, a little more, another reference image, something more complex now, maybe that Instagram or the WhatsApp. You know what, let's go with the Instagram. Okay, so for this one we're going to do a little something a little different. We're not going to use our pen tool to trace. We're going to go to our shape tools, that one, the rounded rectangle, but something important, we have to come to that part that says shape and turn that to path. Again, we have to come out of our cap lock. Our cap lock is on, but maybe we just go ahead and use it that way anyway. So we're going to draw that shape just like so. Okay, that top is I think we can Control T that, or Command T on your Mac. We can bring that in at the right there, or maybe now we're just gonna test some roundness value and see what works. 1000 is too much. Let's try 500. Not enough. Let's try 600. Maybe, I think if we close it, we close that right part by holding shift if you're on one of the latest Photoshop. Okay, I think that's good now. So we need to do the same thing for the inner section of that border, that outer border right there. We need to do the same thing again. Just draw that one like so. Let's start from that edge. You know what, let's try again. Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, let's just input that roundness value already from there, so we can get as close to where we're going as much as possible. So let's just use Control T on Windows and Command T on Mac. Let's move that into space. So yeah, you can move that. Hold shift, bring that down. Maybe do the one at the top too. Hold shift, bringing it a little bit. There we go. I think we need to reduce the roundness because right now 600 is a bit too much for this one in. So let's try 500. Okay, I think it's perfect at 500. Okay, good. So now we do the same thing for every shape we can see. So let's do that small circle there. Okay, so we're going to use our free transform tool to just transform that into place. Okay, press enter. Now let's do this outer one. Maybe we can start with the inner one. You know what, let's start with the inner one. Ctrl T. No, that won't work. Sorry, Ctrl T now. Okay, there we go. So let's just move that into space. Let's see if we can move it into the middle and then just scale it up. Now you need to hold, you know what, let's just drag it at the edges. I wanted to scale it uniformly, but you know, I think this way, since we have snapping on Photoshop, this way is good. So let's just do it this way. That's fine. Ctrl T again. Let's try to pull that, just place that there. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can always adjust it later, just somewhere where we seem to find the edge. So put that there. Alright, and try to snap that to the edge there, bring them down, and let's maybe add the side there. Okay, the side there, let's just put that in. Okay, so I think we're good now. The next thing we need to do is come back to our pen tool before we can then define that custom shape. See, already you have that to the left there, the icon just previewing the custom shape you have defined. So that's good. Now let's try and get the Instagram icon out of the way right now. I think it's a no for that one, so let's just hide that. You know what, let's just backspace. Yes, let's just do yes right now. So let's just do a backspace and remove all of that part. Okay, and also we remove that icon there, that Instagram image. So now let's go to our custom shape and just test things out right now. Alright, see, we have all of them. Instagram goes first. There we go. Hold shift. Let's just make that a perfect square. Let's turn that to shape now and give it a feel, because without turning that into shape, let's do it again. Okay, it's probably there, but let's just do it again. So give it a feel of that blue again. There we go. So good. Now we have a custom Instagram shape that lives inside of our Photoshop without having to go outside and inside every time we need to define the shape. Facebook, there we go, boom, that's a blue Facebook. So let's just test a use case for this custom shapes, especially when you try to define contact, or I know a couple of times, often when I'm trying to define contact, I like to append an icon to that. So let's just define a bit of a contact here, make that really small. But right now, the good thing is this is no longer an image where you can pixelate or anything like that. This is a vector shape right now, so you don't have to worry about pixelation. Shape is always going to be at the utmost resolution, and that's the good thing about defining custom shapes or just using custom shapes in your work. You know what, let's just change that to something not so heavy. Let's change the weight, put a space there. Let's change the weight there, it's a bit too heavy for me. Okay, medium is good, so there we go. And let's make it a bit smaller, maybe around 30. Alright, good. I just centralize that right there. No, so we're trying to duplicate it right now. So hold Alt on your keyboard and just duplicate right there. Good, just so we can retain the font size and everything. So TLC Learn, Facebook and Instagram right there. So you see there we have created custom shapes, and in the next moment we're going to define how to export it, our custom shape. So let's just hide that. Let's hide that one. Good. So let's come back to our custom shapes, drop this down and just select everything. Just select everything, and we're looking for export right there selected, but let's just right click and then export selected and just give it a name. Now this is the hidden folder Photoshop wants you to put it, but you can put it in any folder you like, and I'm just going to drop it here on my documents, custom social, or let's just call that social icon. Don't need for social icons. Good. And let's delete it now so we can demonstrate how to import it. So now you've now created your custom shapes, you've exported it, and now let's import it. We can right click there, so let's just go ahead and do it the normal way. Import. Let's go to document again, where I've put that social icons right there. Good. So now you have a folder that is saying social icons, and we can test all of that again. It's working fine. It's still a vector vector shape, and it's with scale to however you want it to scale and maintain the resolution. Let's just test that arrow again, holding shift. Let's give it a yellow because we just contrast things out a little bit, and maybe just arrange it a little. I thought that was gonna be nice overlaying, but not so nice. So probably just do it that way, put it next to each other. And let's test the Instagram icon again, right there, just a little bit under it right there. Good. And okay, so there we go. If you like this video, please subscribe, like it, and share this video with friends. Thank you very much.